And welcome to another episode of the Philly BroCast. I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm Ryan. What's up, bro?
What's up, bro? What's going on tonight? Another wonderful Tuesday night. We were off last week, but we have a lot to catch up on. Obviously, the Eagles' schedule just came out, so we'll go over that quickly and talk about what we think win-loss total and whatnot. We'll obviously get to the Sixers' disappointing exit once again in the second round. We'll talk a little bit of Phillies as they are coming off of a pretty nice series win against the Dodgers. And then we'll talk a little bit Flyers coaching search as their offseason continues. But let's talk Birds first. The schedule came out the other week. About a week ago. And it's at first glance, I think it's a favorable schedule for the Eagles. There's not too many, hard, roads, so to speak. A couple games in a row where it's, kind of a murderer's row of games. I think it's nice and spaced out. So, and we get a couple of, lighter teams early on as we're figuring out our season. So, I think it bodes well for a good record, good season, and I'm pretty excited about how the schedule laid out. What about you?
No, absolutely. Especially this first four, technically 5 games. I'm really excited to see how the team is going to develop and show kind of where they're headed in this season. One of the big things is starting off at Detroit. I think that should be a pretty nice game for us to kind of show the league where we're at, what we're dealing with. It'll be nice to have, Slay back in Detroit, kind of show who he guards and what he's up against, how he can continue to be our top corner. That's one of the matchups I'm looking forward to. You think about Minnesota at home, first game, should be a win. It doesn't really scare me at all. And again, you got, our defense going up one of the best young wideouts in the league. So I'm excited about that.
Yes.
And as we go down the list, it's kind of the first 4 games look like wins. On paper, I would say win. But, when it gets into it, and obviously taking into account injuries and things like that in the first couple games. But but the first 4 look really strong, and hopefully a good game in Arizona. That'd be fun, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm really hoping they start 5-0 because again they start out at Detroit, home for Minnesota on Monday night. Then we play Carson Wentz for the first time in Washington, and then the Jacksonville Jaguars come to town, and then as you said, that game in Arizona, which we are planning on attending, which is always nice when you're on an away game and you can get a victory.
Especially in Arizona in October. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
I can't wait. Honestly, it's going to be a good time out there. So we definitely can't wait to head on out to Arizona. But honestly, this Eagles schedule, as you said, the first 4 games really could, set them up for a 4-0 start. Minnesota, I think I'm a little bit more, concerned than you. I wouldn't say I'm concerned, but again, I think we don't always play well against Kirk Cousins for some odd reason. Obviously their offense is with Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, is pretty potent, and their offensive line isn't half bad. So, for whatever reason, Kirk Cousins just lights us up. So, I still think we got to win. I personally think we're actually going to lose to Washington in a pretty disappointing game, but I hope I'm wrong in that. But yeah, I think at least the schedule is set up so that the Eagles can start off pretty hot, and that'll be a true test in Arizona. Say they go into that game 4-0. Kyler Murray is one of, I would say, probably 2 quarterbacks that we would consider top tier elite quarterbacks, along with Aaron Rodgers on the Packers, that we're actually going to play. No, you don't think Kyler Murray's in that good.
You say Kyler Murray's top 10?
Yeah,
I do not. No.
You don't think Kyler Murray's a top 10 quarterback?
I do not.
Okay.
Maybe fantasy wise, but that doesn't always translate. That doesn't always translate. So I disagree that he's a top 10 quarterback. There's a few others that I would place in front of him. I'm not a big fan of the quarterbacks who are kind of undersized, rely on their legs, kind of go off the cuff, and I don't believe that they have a long shelf life. I mean, that's just obvious, but I truly don't think that he is that accurate and that talented. Plus, he's going to be without DeAndre Hopkins in that game in particular.
First 6 games.
But, I mean, just for the first 6 games, you're missing a top-tier wide receiver like DeAndre Hopkins. That's a top 10 wide receiver. But
now here's where I got to disagree with you. I don't think Hopkins is a top 10 wide receiver anymore.
But why wouldn't you say that? Because if you're saying he has a top 10 quarterback, that means he should just be.
One does not mean the other.
If you have a top 10 quarterback throwing you the ball, you should, and you have top 10 wide receiver ceiling, maybe top 5 as a ceiling for DeAndre Hopkins. He's one of the best.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I think I could name 10 wide receivers over him right now.
Okay. I mean,
I'm kind of in the same boat with you with Kyler Murray. Although obviously Hopkins has more of a track record of showing that he has been a top 10 wide receiver.
What is it that would just kind of flag him to be outside of the top 10? What is it to you?
It's nothing necessarily it's not necessarily anything about him. I think it's just about the talent around the league. There's so much wide receiver talent right now. It's unreal how much wide receiver talent right now there is.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got some young talent that's coming up that, you know, it's like Jamar Chase that's obviously put himself in the top 10.
You put him there. You put Justin Jefferson there, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so there's 2 right there. You have Devontae Adams, right? Yep. Would you say Tyreek Hill?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's Cooper Kupp.
Obviously.
Nobby. I'm just trying to think of fire things.
Exactly. And DeAndre Hopkins is one of the first people that comes into your head, and you have to literally think hard to exclude.
I'm not saying it's not a hard thought process.
I don't think it's hard to exclude Kyler Murray from the top 10 quarterbacks. Not saying he could be 11. I'm just saying I could exclude him from the top 10.
I just think it's, given the fact that, his age, he's not that he's breaking down or anything. It's just saying there's a lot of talent out there. I just named 5 really quickly, and I'm sure I could keep going if my brain would work right now.
Well, I mean, we have, I believe, somebody who's a top 10 wide receiver, and that's A.J. Brown.
Okay, well, so there you go. There's 6 right there. What about somebody like CeeDee Lamb? Not yet? I think he's right there.
He's on the cusp. He's really good, talented, but then again, I think it really depends on who's throwing him the ball.
What about Mike Evans?
That's a really good one because he's very, very talented, but
sure.
I feel like he's streaky.
Sure. What about somebody like Keenan Allen?
Another one that
I feel like
he flies under the radar. Yeah, he really does fly under the radar. He's so consistent. He's awesome. I really do like Keenan Allen.
I love Keenan Allen.
I think he deserves to be in that top tier conversation. Absolutely.
Yeah. What about Stephon Diggs?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
He's incredible.
Man, I'm just trying to. What about Debo? I mean, I'd call him very similar to A.J. Brown as far as talent-wise.
It's just, I guess it's the way that we've seen Debo and how he's used at that hybrid level.
You're going to take that.
I'm not saying it's anything against him. I'm just saying as pure wideout, we're talking about, top 10 wide receivers. Yes, Debo is in talent. He's athletically top 10, top 5 maybe. But I mean, as being used as and stat wise for wide receiver numbers, I don't know if he's top 10. I haven't looked into it, but I don't know if he puts up the same numbers as, as somebody like a Justin Jefferson or something like that. Just like these guys put up big wideout numbers, but they're not going to touch Debo in that from behind the line of scrimmage numbers. So that's a tough one.
Yeah. I don't know. Just what about DK? Somebody like DK Metcalf.
That's going to be an interesting one. I would love to see what he does this year.
Yeah, I agree, especially given his change of quarterback. What about somebody like Michael Thomas, who obviously was injured last year, but when he is there, he is
he's a game changer.
He's a game changer. I'm just trying to Calvin Ridley again.
These are kind of the guys like we're looking at last year into this year. Yeah, I mean we can look back and kind of just say overall, obviously Devontae Adams is probably the best wideout in the league overall. Like he just does it every year. You're tossing the ball to him in big moments. He's gonna catch it. He's gonna get yak. It's like not an argument. Yeah. Cooper Kupp proved that he can do it in big moments and in the regular season.
Yeah.
He's in the top 10 easily. I mean, if you're saying all this, I honestly think besides last year and like currently with DeAndre Hopkins' issues, I think you have to throw him in the top 10, man. Like, he's a game changer. What he did last year when he was healthy and playing was being a game changer. I had him on my fantasy team, so I like to watch him. I like to see what he can do, but that's not my leaning point. That's not why I'm going his way. It's the raw talent. It's the fact that he can go up and get it, and he's sure-handed and consistent.
Sure. No, I agree. And then you also have somebody like, Jalen Waddle, who, is kind of on the cusp of breaking into that top 15.
Yeah, very young. But
young, still obviously a lot to prove there. But yeah, I think, obviously Hopkins has to be kind of considered right there. Anyway, I'm not sure how we kind of got on this.
We were talking about Kyler Murray being top 10, and then we went on wide receivers being top 10. All good. Not a problem. But,
hey, what's going on, Mike? How are you, buddy?
What's up, Mike? Week 6 at Dallas, right before our bye.
Yeah, a huge game, especially if we get a win in Arizona. It becomes such a huge game that if we can go into the bye, again, even if we slip up in Minnesota, Washington, or whatever, and again, whatever. Say we have, going into, the bye. Well, we'll have played 6 games. If we're 3-2, that game becomes so huge. Going into the bye, getting a win, going into the bye with 4-2, and then you're staying home. So you have the home game against Dallas. You get a week off, and then you stay home to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then you're going to Houston, which, again, shouldn't be that hard.
No.
So, yeah, I feel like how they end their first 6 games could really be telling for this team and how they end up throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not too laxed. If they do get to Dallas week 6, they're just say they're 5-0, and they lose. They're 5-1. They go to Pittsburgh, or they come home and play Pittsburgh.
Well, they're still at home with Dallas, so
I know.
But I'm just saying, stay home. Yeah,
come home, stay home, whatever.
Whatever.
They play Pittsburgh. Like, how are you feeling now? Like, you're like, I'm playing this Pittsburgh team, and they don't have Ben, and you're not sure like where everything's at. That's a game you can lose. Houston, that's Houston. Oh, I'm a little confused at what my team is, but we're still, 5-2. Yeah, boom.
Trap.
Yeah, another trap, and then you have the Washington Commanders again, and it's like, but I do have to say one thing. Do you not think that this whole thing with Carson playing the Eagles is not going to mess with his head? I have to ask that.
Oh, 100%. It has to.
I think that the Commanders' defense is still, like, their defensive line is
sick. Disgusting.
But, like, you have a quarterback who's going to have a mental breakdown at some point during these two games. It's inevitable. And it's
most likely at Philly when he comes back.
Oh my gosh!
And I honestly, I've never been more excited
for tears from a quarterback
at a divisional home game
from usually a 30-year-old man.
Divisional home games are usually the ones where I'm like, whatever. Like, I don't need to go to them. I've seen Washington, I've seen Dallas, I've seen the Giants 1,000 times. I don't necessarily need them again. That's a game I could sell, recoup a little money for the season tickets. No, not for Washington. I am there for Washington. I want to be there and just feel the energy of that crowd as it comes down and the hatred that comes down on Carson Wentz. And then, granted, there's still some Wentz wagoners out there, for sure.
Oh, I mean, that was my guy.
I know. I love them too. I rode with them. I was on that wagon. But eventually, I had to get off the wagon.
Let the Bronco buck.
Seriously, you had to get off of it. And there are people that are stayed with them and became Indianapolis Colts fans and now are following them over there because of Wentz. People do that, and that's fine. But that's not me. That'll never be me.
Well, that means you're not an Eagles fan. So.
Yeah. Guess what? When Brian Dawkins went to Denver, I didn't become a fucking Denver Broncos fan. It hurt. It hurt me to all hell. And did I root for him? Sure, I root for him.
Of course. You can root for a player.
I wasn't a Broncos fan.
Exactly.
Fuck that. You think this is?
All right.
Wow. I'm just saying. Like, there wasn't even a thought process to be like, oh, Brian Dawkins meant the world to me.
Of course.
I loved him.
The best Eagle, arguably, ever. I mean,
easily the best. Easily one of the best Eagles. I mean, obviously, Reggie White, Bednarik, yada, yada, yada. There's a bunch. Yeah. But for me, in my prime, I was real young when Reggie White was on this team. And I got a chance to meet him when he was on the Bears when I was like, just a little wee man.
Little tyke.
A little tyke. And, yeah, listen, I looked up to that dude. I loved that team. That's how I got introduced. And I'll forever have that in my heart. Him and Randall. And I'll go through a million of the players on those teams. But in my real formative years, it was Brian Dawkins. That was the dude. When I was going to games, I was tailgating. I was enjoying the whole atmosphere, and that memory is stronger than the one when I was littler. And I will forever hold that. And I'm sorry, I understand that might be Carson Wentz to somebody. And that's okay. You can't help who you like. Carson Wentz did a great thing for us in 2017. He really did. He did amazing. And I'm forever going to be thankful for that because he got us to where we needed to go. Nick Foles took it the rest of the way. But we wouldn't have won a Super Bowl without him.
I agree completely. Yeah.
But since that point, it's just kind of been downhill with more injuries, with the head stuff, with the Jalen Hurts stuff, yada, yada, yada. It just, unfortunately, it did not work out.
Yeah.
And we got what we could for him. I still think we did a great job getting what we did. And we've utilized those assets to help us get even better assets. And I'm all for it. But I still am not happy with Carson Wentz and how he left this team and how it all happened. Whoever you want to blame, whether you want to blame Carson, you want to blame the drafting of Hurts, whether you want to blame Howie, whoever. Don't care. He's not on this team. He's now on our rival. And I'm sorry, but I will boo him.
Oh yeah. It's definitely happening.
But it's not 100% hatred. I appreciated what he did. But he'll get booed, and I want to be there for that, that feeling.
Absolutely.
It's going to be awesome.
So we went through Pittsburgh, Houston, Washington.
Yes.
We got Washington out of the way. We still haven't played the Giants yet. So
no, yeah. The fact of the matter is, we were originally going to be playing the Colts Week 11. We are playing the Colts Week 11, but we were originally going to be playing Carson Wentz when at Indianapolis, as he was a member of the Colts.
Now we play him twice.
Now we're going to play him twice before we would have even have seen him originally, which is hilarious. So we go out to Indianapolis on Sunday.
That'll be a very interesting game to me because Indianapolis, their team, seems very complete, but like missing big pieces in certain positions. So I mean, like you have a decent wide receiver core, but like who's your number one?
I mean, you though? I mean, you have.
I said it's decent, not great.
Right. I guess.
So, and then you have like a decent secondary, but who's your guy there? It's like
nobody stands out.
You got your linebackers, your defensive line, their offensive line as a group.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Phillip Rivers there, just 2 years ago, they looked like a stud team.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, just plug in this guy.
Right. And then you have Jonathan Taylor with Matt Ryan.
The running game is fantastic.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a lot tougher of a game than people realize.
Yeah.
Especially when it's leading into home game against Green Bay.
I can't wait to see Aaron Rodgers play.
Which is going to be amazing. And then that's a Sunday night game. So you have
it's not getting flexed no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And then follow that up with Tennessee coming into town. So you have 2 straight really tough home games. It's Tennessee. I feel like maybe they took a step down. Obviously, they were an AFC number 1, but they lost obviously AJ Brown. They lost Julio Jones.
They got the 2-2 train.
Well, I mean, you obviously still have Derrick Henry, who's a game changer and will forever be, as long as he's healthy. But yeah, I just feel like they've maybe taken a slight step down. And again, if I think the Eagles can step up to the challenge, I think that's a game they can win.
What about this, Reis? What about in that Tennessee game? What about seeing Jordan Davis have his come out, his hey, I'm here in the league type of game where he can block up, right? Block up that area in which Derrick Henry loves to bowl people over. You see him. I
would love to see that quintessential moment. Jordan Davis versus Derrick Henry. No one's around them, and that old Brian Bosworth versus Bo Jackson, but in reverse this time, where the defensive player wins the battle. And
if that guy lays down on anyone, he almost dead.
Sits him down, and Derrick Henry goes down in a heap, and Jordan Davis just stands up, and I have arrived.
Oh, if he does like the Eagles, like fly. Oh, well, we wouldn't really hear that, but if he did it, it'd be cool.
I'd hear it right here. All right, like, dude, that would be such a great moment of you have Derrick Henry, who's such a bulldozer and has just
a beast.
He has ended careers with that stiff arm of his and bowling people over because he is a monster.
No one has mentally or physically come back from his stiff arm.
No. I haven't on some of them.
You got vicariously hurt.
Yeah, I felt it a little bit. I was like, oh, that hurts.
Oh, goodness.
That hurt my soul. But wouldn't that be amazing? Jordan Davis, welcome to the NFL. Derrick Henry, best running back, one of the best running backs in the league, one of the most powerful running backs in the league. They go head to head.
Be great. Be great.
Down he goes. I would love it.
All right.
That's probably. I will say that's probably the 3 toughest games in a row.
Yeah, that's our stretch.
Yeah,
that's our
Colts, Packers, and Tennessee, and if you can come out of there with 2 wins, holy crap, I'm happy.
I mean,
I am happy.
I would see again. I just am afraid of Aaron Rodgers whenever. Always. I see him on the field. He's a scary man. So
even without Devontae,
Colts and Tennessee are my hopeful wins.
Yeah,
I just never see us beating the Packers. I don't know why. It's possible, but I don't see it. And then you roll right into the Giants, who are super hungry.
They are, but they're super bad.
Are they? Did they just not have the best first round in a?
Okay, great. You got a couple of players who are rookies. You're still rookies.
Okay.
All right, so you have 100 holes.
The best.
You have 100 holes.
Go on to be good NFL players.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying you had 100 holes.
For the most part.
You plugged 2 of them.
Daniel Jones is all right. He's Daniel Jones, but he's not a bad quarterback. And I've said this since the draft. Do you remember the draft? What was it, 3 years ago, that we talked about him? And I was like, this guy is going to be
you were all
good quarterback.
Over his, you know what?
He's going to be a good quarterback, and he is a good quarterback. He just is part of a mess
of an organization.
Yes.
I think he is an average quarterback, somebody who can, do just enough to get a win, but he can also do a lot to get you a loss. And combine that with the fact that their offensive line was absolute trash last year. Now, granted, they helped it with Evan Neal. That'll certainly go a long way, for sure.
Yeah.
And they got, Thibodeau. They got Thibodeau, right, on the other side.
Correct.
I loved him. I loved him as a prospect. I think the Giants had a great draft. But like I said, you also have a wide receiver core who you spent more money than God to get 0 touchdowns as a unit. 0. You spend more money than anybody, you get 0 touchdown production from that? That's awful. Kenny Galladay, I don't even know where the hell he went. They're trying to trade Kadarius Toney. They lost Evan Ingram, their only tight end. They're a hot mess, and I don't think they're going to be in any shape or form to compete with us. And there goes Ryan. You still there with us, just on video? All right. I'll see if Ryan comes back. What's up, Seamus? What's going on, buddy? Well, anyway, while we wait for Ryan to get back, yeah, the Giants ain't beating us. I'm sorry. I truly believe that we'll probably, most likely split with Dallas, most likely split with Washington. There's no way in hell that we're losing to the Giants this year. I'm sorry. They are not there yet. Oh, there you are. Oh,
so sorry.
Hey, boo.
So sorry about that.
All good. Yeah, I was just saying, listen, I think we'll split with the Giants, or split with Dallas. I think we'll split with the Commanders. And there's no way in hell the Giants are beating us this year. I'm sorry. Not happening.
I'm just saying, don't overlook them. That's all I said.
I don't have to worry about that. I don't play the damn game. They don't need to overlook them. I'll overlook them all the hell I want. And I will. Look it up. Look, wait, look at me. Look at me, real quick. Oh, I just overlooked. Hey-oh!
This is look, and you went overlook.
Overlook, yes.
I get it.
So then we were back on the road after going to New York and getting an easy win, I assume, to Chi-Town. But it is December in Chicago. Mid-December, I might add.
It's rough.
It's going to be cold.
Yeah. But, I mean, we're not used to cold. That's, not really an issue.
But there's a different cold in Chicago, let me tell you.
All right. That's okay.
I'm not saying it's going to factor. I'm just saying it's freaking cold.
I'll tell you right now, if Justin Fields is quarterback, we'll do all right.
Yeah, well, there's that. So, again, this is kind of a nice little easy break after the 3-game stretch, Giants, Chicago. And then things start getting a little serious the next 2. We have a Saturday Christmas Eve game at the Cowboys.
Huge.
Thank God it's at Dallas. Just for...
You're saying that for selfish reasons.
For Christmas purposes. Yes. But I will say that with a caveat that if it was at home game, I would be there bright and early. As I normally do. Yeah, we'll griddle that shit.
No, you don't griddle a turducken.
Figure it out.
No.
I can't bring 2 different...
Wait, because we have to do each side 4 hours apiece. So,
yeah. I'm gonna live.
I mean, I really feel. Do you know off the top of your head what the Eagles' strength of schedule is right now?
third to last.
Yeah, I mean, this is really nice.
You know who has the last?
Dallas
and Washington.
Oh, okay.
So literally 3 out of the 4 teams in the division have the 3 easiest schedules. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, the
Just
NFL
we all
knows
have
what
to
they're
play
doing.
each other. We all have to
They
play
know
each
what
other.
they're doing.
Yeah, right?
So then New Orleans and the Giants to end it out. It's fun. It's nice. It's sweet. It's something that some people want to see, but
there's a lot of extra with the New Orleans game, mostly because we have their first round pick in this upcoming year, so that will only help us by beating them, and I would assume that New Orleans game could be the one that clinches us a playoff spot, to where final game against the Giants we rest starters and we don't need to do anything, and that might be the only way the Giants beat it.
Yeah. That's fine. If that's the case, I'm happy with that.
Just going through the schedule, I'm thinking 10 to 11 wins in that area. I think if for whatever reason the Eagles can solidify the defensive backfield, as obviously James Bradbury just became available, still making his decision on where he wants to sign, that would be a huge signing. There's a lot of rumors not a lot, but there's a few small quiet rumors of the Eagles going after a trade for somebody like Jesse Bates III from Cincinnati, who just got franchise tagged, but they're struggling to get a long-term deal done. He's 25. He was the one person I absolutely wanted at safety before free agency, before franchise tags. That was my dude. Yeah, so we would trade for him, rework a deal. I'd be all for it, 100% all for it. I think you get yourself Jesse Bates and Darius Slay. I think the other two, the fact that you have Anthony Harris, that's fine. You have a couple of young guys that are going to work out the CB2. That's fine too. That works because now you have at least a second person back there that can solidify that defensive backfield. Combine that with the improvement of the linebacker core, the immense improvement by the linebacker core, and the depth and the talent on the defensive line. That defense can actually be something. And all you have to do is make one move, whether it's a signing of Bradbury or a trade of Bates. You get that second guy back there, it plugs that hole enough to where you'll be fine and be able to keep that ship afloat and keep it flying.
So what I want to do is say, yes, I agree, but also tease a little bit towards next week, because I want to dive into that cornerback situation a little bit more next week, because we have, 3 other sports to cover in the next 20 minutes. So I just want to say that I'm with you, but when you're going up against a team like Minnesota and you have Darius Slay guarding whoever, there's also the other.
Right.
So it's Jefferson, Thielen, Jefferson, whoever it happens to be. Where's this going to go? Who's that going to be? How are they going to do? We're going to cover that a lot more next week, because I really want to get into it, but it's going to take the rest of the show. But I really do.
We have other things to talk about.
I want to talk about the Sixers real quick. I want to get into this.
Do you want to flip to Sixers now, or is that what you're doing now?
Yeah, I am. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, that's fine. You need to let me know.
Do you want me to ask your permission?
No,
because
I don't need
guess
permission.
What? Permission granted from me.
Oh my God. You're such a jackass. No, there's just some things that I need to do, producing wise. We're gonna switch over. So go ahead. Start your Sixers talk, brother.
You know what, Reis? I think you should start your own podcast, maybe all about the Eagles. Oh wait, you have one.
I actually have a second one now.
I actually have 2.
I was born in the Eagles.
You were merely molded by it.
I was molded by it.
Yeah. Listen.
I'm sorry.
Big thing I need to talk to you about with the Sixers. A, James Harden, player option.
Sure.
B, young talent. 3, what we're doing with Matisse.
Okay. All right, let's
So,
start first one.
A, James Harden, do you think he's going to take his player option?
Yes.
B,
he would be an idiot not to.
B, what are we going to do with this young class of talent that we have, a.k.a., not
Maxey.
a.k.a., but literally, Paul Reed, Bassey, company.
Right.
I mean, listen, B-Ball Paul played very well.
You're right. And he could have been even better had they actually played him some more regular season minutes to get him ready for the playoffs. He could have been an actual,
ready for the playoffs. He was ready for the playoffs. He played well. It's Doc Rivers not giving him the minutes.
Right. That's what I'm saying. In the regular season, he needed more minutes in the regular season. I think he could have been even better. He could have been even better.
I can't wait for Doc Rivers to be gone. The guy's
a goof.
I hate using the term cancer. I really hate using that term, but I'm going to use it right here. He is a cancer to this team. Doc Rivers is blind to the talent on the team, and he is influenced by many other factors. Mainly somebody saying, "Hey, play. We picked up the option on, or we're paying Furkan a little bit more. We just paid him, so you got to play him a little bit more." When the guy's shooting 28% from 3-point line.
Listen, so to answer your question, yes, I personally think there needs to be a focus on some of these young guys, B-Ball Paul and Bassey.
Bassey's a talent, man. He's raw, but he's a talent.
And Isaiah Joe. These are all guys that I want to see a little. Yeah, but I feel like he's got something there that he could be a nice deep bench player. Eventually, it might be a slower process than the other guys, but still, we're gonna need to develop these guys if we want to have a fucking bench.
We don't trust the process on a bench player. Like,
I'm not saying you do, but guess what killed us? Guess what killed us? We had no bench. That hurt us so much because when Joel went out, you had to throw B-Ball Paul in, who again did admirably. But the fact of the matter is, you were still playing DeAndre Jordan for some reason, but thank God he's gone. And you were again wasting, minutes that could have been allocated other ways to better help this team if we had a better bench. And the simple fact of the matter is, we're not going to have any more because Harden's going to, opt into that contract. Yeah, we're going to lose a little money on 47. Like, what the hell? Like, and they're not going to sign him to an extension to help lower that or anything because they don't want to. Well, why would you sign him after the year he's had? Now they kept saying, "Oh, it's been 24 games. It's been 24 games. It's been 24 games." All right, yeah, I get it.
We know what we have,
but yeah, unless you're saying that, unless you're saying that it's he's done.
I mean, you look at Joel Embiid. What he said in that post-game conference was literally, you thought we had the Houston Rockets, James Harden. We don't. That's the facts. We literally have a facilitator and a possible hot shot 3-point shooter. And that's it. If he gets hot, then give him the ball. If not, just let him facilitate. And Tyrese Maxey, finishing in the 6th spot for the most improved player is disgusting. Disgusting. I am just shocked simply because it's literally one of those things where you're like, wow, how is the guy that improved almost 50% in his points, in his 3-point percentage, everything? I mean, he might have improved 200% in his 3-point percentage. I think he was at like 28. Now he's at like 47. Something like that. Amazing. And literally thinking about some of these players and saying, okay, where are we going from here? What we're going to think about is, what are we doing with Matisse? What are we doing with someone like Tobias? And then Danny Green.
Well, I fear that Danny Green, they're saying maybe his career might be over.
I don't doubt that. He's
Matisse,
not old, but
Matisse needs to work with a shooter. He needs to learn how to shoot, plain and simple. And honestly, I think they're going to try and trade Tobias if they can get somebody they feel improves this team and perhaps lowers our cap. But that's going to be near impossible.
Super tough.
So,
okay. So, real quick, again, sorry to rush. The Flyers looking for a coach.
Yeah.
Paul Maurice might be
the
guy that circles back.
Around
it's like
and settles
a
on
little bit of connections here, and then you have the Jets and go into the playoffs, and I could see Paul Maurice or even Tocchet. Wouldn't it be fun to have Rick Tocchet as
that
coach?
That would be awesome. I think
that's a Flyers coach right there.
But you also have that mindset of it's the old Flyer way, bring in all Flyers guys and do it.
I want it back. I want that back. I know that my coworker is a big Flyers fan, and I don't know if he wants the Flyers way, but as much as I love it and I grew up in it, it's time to move on. We need to adapt to the NHL that's being played right now. But then again, like
speed,
you could possibly say that defense can still win championships.
They can.
I mean, look at Florida. They have good defense.
Yeah, no, they do. They have a great defense, and now they
also have
players. Yeah,
Giroux,
who's playing amazing. Good for him, honestly.
He's awesome. I love him. I mean, I'm looking at literally like on my screen. It's just a little clip of him doing his magic. It's fantastic.
Love
it. And then the Phillies still are below 500, and you
bullpen
kept saying about the batting, the hitting. Oh my gosh, we have such a good lineup, but no defense. Our top two pitchers are 1-4 and 1-3, and then we have Ranger Suarez as 4-1. Like what?
Yeah, well, that's why wins don't ever matter in Cy Young voting, personally.
They never matter.
Well, they shouldn't, is what I'm saying. Anyway.
All right. Well, I don't have a quick trivia question for you, actually.
Oh, well, next week. Think of two next week.
Oh, I got a trivia question for you.
Oh boy.
When somebody talked trash to the Minister of Defense, what did he say back to them?
Actually, I've heard this, and I can't remember for the life of me.
So someone was like, "Hey, Reggie, blah blah blah, blank this, blank that." What did he say back?
I can't remember. I know this, and as soon as you say it, I'm gonna be like, "Damn it!" But it's something. It's something only he would say.
Just God bless you, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I knew he said something like "thank you" or like it was something simple. But yeah, I should have went with "God bless you." Damn it. Oh well. Nah, can't win them all, right? Although that's just the second Reggie White question you've done.
I gave you some softballs the last couple weeks.
You did. So it's all good. But all right. Well, we are gonna get out of here a little early. Apologize to everybody. Thank you very much for joining us, Mike, Seamus, and everybody on the Painted Lines YouTube channel, and of course our new home at Six Pack Coverage. We can't thank you guys enough. So make sure you go ahead and check them out at sixpackcoverage.com. Link down or the website down below. And then, of course, thankful to our wonderful sponsor, La Terrain. Go to laterrain.com, la-terrain.com. Some fat watches, accessories, sunglasses, all the like. Use code PSA for site-wide discounts. All right, well, we are out of here. We will see you guys next week. We will see you guys live this Saturday in Pittman, New Jersey, outside of Lenny and Susie Sports Memorabilia for an Eagles discussion. We'll be live outside their store talking birds, doing a podcast, so come stop out. We have awards and prizes and stuff to give away, so check us out this Saturday at noon outside of Lenny and Susie Sports Memorabilia in Pittman, New Jersey. But that's it for us for the Philly BroCast. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ryan. Peace out, bros.
Later, bro Tato.
See you.
Peace.